The Klarus ST10 is an old name for a newer light from Klarus. The old version was AA powered and introduced in 2010 and hasn't been made for many years. The new version is designed with EDC use in mind and uses an 18650 battery, TIR reflector, in a compact aluminum body and is USB rechargeable. Thanks to flashlightzz.com for sending this to me to take a closer look at. The construction of this light is pretty good. It uses 6061 T6 aluminum for its construction in a hard anodized finish. It's a matte black finish, as you can see here. And the head is pretty smooth, the tail end is pretty smooth, and you've got knurling in the middle. This light's reasonably compact for an 18650 light with USB rechargeable. And to accomplish this, they've made a few design choices. The tail cap here, it's not removable like many lights. It's all one piece, and the only place it comes apart here is at the head. The tail cap at the back here is one piece, as I was mentioning before, and it's got 4 places where you can attach a lanyard at. And what I really like is it's got a place here that's cut out so the lanyard can go through all while the light stands up. I'm not a huge lanyard person, so I don't have it installed on mine. The tail cap here is not magnetic, which is something I'd kind of expect on most EDC lights. However, there is enough space in here where you could epoxy a neodymium magnet to the outside here to make it magnetic. As I was mentioning, the body tube here is square, knurled, and it's not super grippy, but it holds enough, and it should be enough to get the job done. The threads here are square cut and pretty good shape. There is one place here that I would change here. The threads at the beginning here aren't cut out in a way, they're just very fine, and this beginning thread can get messed up. So they should probably, there are better ways to machine that, I know, and they should consider making that slight change. That being said, these are really easy threads to go on. I would recommend you put some grease on here, but it needs to be grease that conducts electricity. There are springs on both sides of this light. As you can see here, I'm pushing the battery down, it pops back up. But it's the spring on the head here that's interesting. It's actually a dual spring design, as you can kind of see in there. And what this means is it's 2 stages of compression. You've got the first stage, which makes it easier to thread on, and then you've got that second stage that makes better electrical contact. It's a nice way of doing things. The clip here, which I'll talk about more in our EDC section, is pretty good. It's got I haven't found it catching like some lights do, but it does rotate around, and it's pretty stout. It takes quite a bit of effort to pull it off. The head itself here is compact. The button's flat, not rubberized, as you can see there. It doesn't stick up. It's more of a plasticky type design. It has a small RGB LED in the center that's used for battery life indicator, and if I turn it on, turn it off, you can see there it's glowing green. And this button can be removed if it needs servicing. It's an electronic switch that has a positive detent, and it does make a light audible click. On the opposite side of the switch is the USB charging port here, and it peels back from the top back, as you can see there. And what I really like is that this space here is milled out large enough that you can attach different sized USB cables in here. Of course, the included cable fits fine in there, but I also tried several others that I had and had no issue. The rubber door is pretty stout. You've got quite a bit of contact area back here, so I don't think it will come loose easily. And it does fit in there nice. I measured the overall weight with battery and clip at 108.4 grams, overall length at 112 millimeters, and the width varied between 25 to 27 millimeters, depending on where I measured on this light. This light uses a Cree XM-L2U2 LED in cool white. No temperature of the tint was given, but it's a pretty typical cool white, not extremely cool. This light has a TIR optic sitting on top of the LED, which produces a hot center with decent spill as you'd expect. There is a hot center at a distance, and my night shots and wall shots will better show that. It's a nice beam profile, I think, for EDC use. There's then a glass lens with anti-reflective coating on top of that optic. Front of the bezel is flat and looks to be removable, but I couldn't get it to remove. I imagine it has some type of thread locker holding it on. And this light is IPX8 water rated. This light ends up throwing decently for its size. They rated at 115 meters throw, and in my testing, I'd say it even throws a little bit more than that. So here's my night shots for the Klarus ST10, and this is the 2017 model year. And here it is on low, and that picnic table is about 8 feet in front of me, and low does a nice job of lighting that up. If I bump up again, it starts to throw a little better. Bumping up one more time. And one last time here, and this is the maximum brightness. It really lights the table up well and really lights the end of the clearing pretty well. This is really an even beam. There's no real hot spot to the eye. The center is a little bit warmer. It's got that optic in there that really smooths things out. It does have a nice beam profile here that you can kind of see on camera. I'm going to go walk down stream here a little bit and show you what it's like in different brightness modes as I'm walking. On this light, if you double click, you get your special modes, which is a fast strobe, and then it slows down, and it goes back to fast strobe, slows down, fast strobe. You click again, and it goes back to your normal mode. This light has 4 main modes and no moonlight mode, unfortunately. It's a feature I like to see on EDC style lights. Low is rated at 10 lumens for 200 hours, medium is rated at 100 lumens for 18 hours, high is 400 lumens for 4 hours, and turbo is 1100 lumens for 1.5 hours. These numbers were supplied by Klarus using their 16340 battery according to the manuals, and that would be 2 in series. No numbers were given for 18650 output, which is what this light ships with. I feel like Klarus should probably give the numbers based on what the light ships with. This light does have temperature regulation in place and will switch down modes as the light heats up. In my runtime graph, you can see that this actually happens about 10 minutes in, and that light output drops by about 55% relative output as the light cools. It goes up to about 70% output and seesaws a few times. As the battery depletes, this stops happening after about 25 minutes of runtime. After 100 minutes, the light decreases slowly and significantly over about 10 minutes to 10% output, where it runs for another 10 minutes and then runs on low for longer. I stopped this test at 180 minutes where the light was still making light, but effectively it was 0% relative output. There's also strobe mode on this light at 1100 lumens and SOS at only 100 lumens. The UI on this Klarus is simple. The light has memory and will remember any of the constant modes on for quite a while. It does start in low, as you can see here, and you just single click to move up modes, and you long press to shut off. I dislike that this has a double click to go to strobe, and I won't demonstrate that here. On most light, it takes you to turbo, but not on this one. And strobe isn't a feature I use very often, so I find it frustrating because on most lights, double click means turbo. I've had this for a while and been using it, and it still catches me out. When in strobe, you can double click again to get to SOS, and you single click either of those to exit the strobe mode. This light does offer a lockout mode with the switch. You press and hold 5 seconds to lock, and you press then another quick 3 times to unlock. And the light will flash twice in each account to let you know what mode you're in. This light comes with a Klarus branded 2600 milliamp hour 18650 battery. This is a button top and protected cell. However, this light can run with other options too. I had no problems during my testing with flat top 18650 batteries and unprotected cells, thanks to that dual spring design inside the light. As I was mentioning before, I like that this light has the USB charging area milled out larger to accept pretty much any cable I had. No problems fitting it in there, and that was nice. When you have this light plugged in to the USB, you get the charging indicator up front here on the button, powers up. When it's red, it means it's charging. When it's green, it's completely charging. And if you see the light blinking red, you know there's a problem with the charging and more investigation is needed. So up front here, you have the charging level indicator, and I've got the light on low, and you can see there that LED is slightly green, and that means the battery is between 70 and 100%. It'll go orange when the battery is between 70 and 30%, and it'll go red when it's between 30 and 10%. If you see flashing red, it means there's 10% power remaining and you should charge your light. This light stays on for the first 5 seconds of use and then shuts off. So the working voltage of this light is 2.5 to 8.4 volts. So it works with the 4.2 volts out of the 18650 that it comes with. Or I can put two 18350 batteries in. And it works just fine. Or you can use two 16340 rechargeables, like I've got here. Admittedly, these aren't the best brand, but let's show the light works under those two. So there, the light works just fine. What I find important here is that neither of these size adds noise or rattle to the light. I'll hold it up to my mic, and I'm shaking the light around violently and no rattling. That dual spring design, again, comes in handy. I measured parasitic drain at a stable 7.98 milliamps, which is acceptable. As an EDC, this is a decent option. It's not too thick in diameter, and the clip's pretty good. I didn't have any problems with it coming on in my pocket without using lockout mode, but it does offer that if you'd like. I like the clip despite it not being super deep carry like I typically like. I do wish there was more resistance on controlling the rotation of the clip, but it's okay. Mode spacing is pretty even. There are no major jumps. I wish it did have a moonlight option and a direct jump to turbo via double click or triple click like other brands. And USB recharging makes this a convenient light to recharge most places. The package is a full retail box, and it's on the smaller side, which I think is good. On the outside, you've got all the important facts that you need to know. You've got the runtime chart in the back, features, and some stats on the bottom. Inside is a plastic tray where the light sits, and it's packaged with a lanyard, a Klarus branded micro USB cable, and the included 2600 milliamp hour battery. No holster option is included with this light. So the pros for this light is I like that the little LED under the power button changes color and acts as a battery level indicator. It has a wide working voltage, which gives the light a lot of options and will recharge any standard 18650 battery, as well as you can run on other sizes of batteries that are in the family. It has 1 amp charging speed over USB, which is nice. A lot of USB lamps charge slower than that. And I've liked that they've thought to include a cutout in the tail cap to allow the lanyard to pass through the light and still tail stand. The cons of this light are, I really think it's a bad marketing decision to reuse the name of an old product from the same brand that's quite a bit different. It isn't the best marketing move. When I first searched for this light, when I first got it, all the links and blog posts and everything that I saw were for the old version. It's been about a month since then, and that has changed where now you see the new version mostly. I dislike the double click to strobe and would prefer it go to turbo instead. I like that this comes with an 18650 battery that seems to be of high quality, but in 2018 I think the baseline really should be 3000 milliamp hour minimum. I wish they offered a warmer LED option like a neutral white or a high CRI option. I prefer those in my EDC lights. And I think including a magnetic tail cap would just be a smart idea for a light of this price range. So in conclusion, here's what I think. Klarus hasn't always been my favorite brand, but I like this little light for the most part. I wish the UI was a bit different for an EDC, but I think it's a trend in the right direction for Klarus. This price point seems to be right too, with it being available from flashlightzee.com for under $50 for the complete kit. Klarus put some thought into the design of this light to make it a good EDC option, with features that are popular for the general public who are looking to get into lithium-powered lights at an affordable price range. As an enthusiast, there are a few things I'd like to change, but I can live without them too. Check the link in the description below to see more about this light and where you can pick it up on flashlightzee.com's website. Thanks for watching this video. If you like it, please like the video and subscribe to my channel so I can continue to bring out more videos like this to you, my viewers.